Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope your day and your week are going well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. We got more playoff action tonight, 3 games in tonight's slate, and a ton of great picks to give out to you guys. But first, as always, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. We just hit 70,000 subscribers this week. Thank you to you guys, everyone who's been subscribed for a long time, new subscribers, all you guys, for helping us get to 70K. But the job's not done, nowhere near done. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. And if you're new here, make sure hit that subscribe button down below and help us get there just a little bit sooner. We do appreciate it. By the way, happy draft day, everybody. NFL draft today. As a Patriots fan, I have been agonizing over this day for the past few months. Hope you guys, whatever team you're rooting for, whether it be Patriots, if you're in New England like myself, or any team you're rooting for, hope you guys have a fun draft day. Comment down below what your favorite football team is and what pick you want them to make. What guy do you want your team to draft? Comment that down below. Want to see where you guys are from, what your teams are, who you're hoping your team gets in today's draft. Especially want to see where Pats fans are at. I'm personally a big Drake May guy. I want them to take Drake May, but I know there are a lot of people who want Jaden Daniels. I don't really know too many people who want JJ McCarthy, but I'm sure there are some of you guys out there. So, again, comment down below what your favorite team is and what player you want your team to pick in tonight's draft. So, again, we got 3 games on tonight's slate, but we have a ton of picks. I found a lot of value in the 3 games tonight. But a quick little recap of last night. I gave out 5 straight props in yesterday's video. We cashed on 2 out of 5. Not fantastic, but not the worst. Our Porzingis prop and our Chet Holmgren prop, they both cashed in the straight prop segment. We had Drew Holiday over rebounds plus assists, Brandon Ingram over in points, and Valanciunas over in rebounds. All those missed. Ingram was so close to hitting. He did finish with 18 points, just 2 points shy of what we needed. Now, yesterday, a little controversy. We handed out a 3-leg parlay yesterday. I tried to do something different. I went on to FanDuel yesterday. I'm usually, if you watch my videos, you know I'm a DraftKings guy. I love using DraftKings. I'm not sponsored. I just love using them. And I tried to do something different yesterday. Went with FanDuel, and I got kind of clowned in the video. I'll be honest, I don't usually bet with FanDuel, so I wasn't familiar with how they do things. And I didn't realize that you can't use player prop combos in parlay. So unfortunately, the parlay yesterday, I guess you couldn't use it if you were on FanDuel, although I did give you guys some alternate options there. But it is funny because all 3 legs that I handed out, they all 3 did cash. So it is a hit. I'm not going to bring up the money gun because, again, I don't even know if it was possible to actually bet it. I did bet an alternate version on DraftKings, and I did cash. But apologies for that. Won't happen again. That's why I stick with DraftKings. FanDuel, man, just continue to fumble the bag. Why can't you bet player combos and parlays? It makes absolutely 0 sense. But so overall, I did hand out 8 props yesterday. We did cash on 5 out of 8 when you include the picks in the parlay. So overall, we were on the money for the most part yesterday. Let's keep that going. Again, tons of props tonight. A lot of value in tonight's slate. Let's dive in. We'll go over to the Outlier screen now, guys. I always say Outlier is the best sports betting tool in the market. They are the official sponsor of today's video and all my NBA player prop videos here on the channel. We do have a special link in the description down below that gives you a 7-day free trial. It gives you so much insight, especially with MLB season here, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. It gives you a ton of insight, not just on props, but also spreads, totals, money lines, all that good stuff. So it's a really great sports betting tool. If you watch my videos, you'll know that what it can do for you and what it provides. And I also have other videos here on the channel that shows how I use Outlier and some of the features of Outlier. So without further ado here, this is our first prop. Again, we have straight prop segment and then obviously our parlay segment at the end of the video. I have a 4-leg parlay at the end of today's video, but I have 9 props overall in the straight prop segment. I found a lot of value in tonight's slate. All right, guys, so the first prop for tonight's slate, we're going with Cavs Magic, 7 p.m. tip-off. We're going Evan Mobley, over 17.5 points plus assists. We're getting this for -120 on DraftKings, but it is available everywhere, including Prize Picks, Underdog, FanDuel, Caesars, BetMGM, everything. So, Dad is really strong on this one. For -120, it's pretty good. He's cashed in 7 of his last 10 games, averaging 19.2 points plus assists per game. He starts that data to his last 20. 14 of his last 20 games, averaging 19.75 points plus assists per game. And on the year so far, this data does include playoff games as well. A 63% hit rate, 33 out of 52 games this year. He has cashed this over. He's averaging 18.87 points plus assists per game. But most importantly, the reason why I love this the most is the fact that head-to-head matchup, he's cashed this in each of the last 7 games versus the Orlando Magic dating back to last year. In game 1 and game 2 of this series so far, he has cashes. Again, he covers it mostly in points, but no matter what, He has cashed the line in game 1 and game 2. He's done a pretty good job versus Orlando all year. He's played them 4 times this year, including playoffs, and he's cashed them all 4 times. He's averaging 19.71 points plus assists per game versus the Magic, dating back to October of 2022. So the matchup is pretty solid. You look at down low, the Magic, they're pretty good defensively. I mean, the data shows that they're really good defensively all around, but Mobley just finds a way to get it done versus this team, and I'm going to keep betting the trend until it fails. And one more point from this bet, I want to show you guys, I've been doing this for most of my picks here because I do think that you have to put in perspective here the lines when it comes to the minutes played, because a lot of the lines are elevated because it's the playoffs, because the books know these guys are going to play more minutes, they're going to play harder. And so just as a filter I put in the show, when Evan Mobley plays between 32 minutes and 38 minutes in a game this year, again, he played 36 minutes in game 1, 32 minutes in game 2, so this is about the range that he's been playing so far in the series. And you see here, this line has an 83% hit rate when he plays between 32 and 38 minutes a game this season. 15 out of 18 games, averaging 20.67 points plus assists. And you see here, there's game 1 and there's game 2. So those 2 games do fall in this range. So overall, the doubt is pretty solid here for Mobley. All right, guys, the second prop from today's slate and the second prop from this Cavs Magic game 3. We're going Darius Garland over 21.5 points plus assists. We're getting this for minus 105 on DraftKings, but again, it is available on practically every sports book, including Prize Picks Underdog. I saw a comment in yesterday's video that people want more Prize Picks and Underdog picks. The only reason I haven't done more of stuff like that is because, especially like where I live in Connecticut, I don't have Prize Picks in Connecticut. Like a lot of these books, although they're cool, there's a lot of states that don't have them, and so I've opted to not usually lean on those. But I have seen some more people requesting it, so I could do some more Prize Picks and Underdog content if you guys are interested. But Darius Garland has cashed this in 6 of his last 10 games. He's averaging 22.7 points plus assists per game. On the year so far, a 66% hit rate. Again, this includes playoffs. He's averaging 24.44 points plus assists per game this season. And look at the head-to-head data. 6 of his last 7 games versus Orlando, he has cashed the over. He's averaging 27.86 points plus assists per game versus the Magic. You saw in game 1, he cashed this line. In game 2, he fell just short of the line, about 3 points / assists short of the mark in game 2, but still pretty close there. You look at Orlando, we talked about earlier with the Mobley pick, they're pretty good defensively across the board. The only real weak spots are small forward and point guard. They are middle of the road in points allowed, giving up 24 points per game to opposing point guards. Again, the head-to-head data here is pretty strong for Garland, so I do like the spot. And again, just to show you guys this minutes filter here, I put a filter for Darius Garland between 30 minutes and 36 minutes played. You got to assume he's going to be in that range. I believe in games 1 and 2, let's see, game 2, he played, where's the minutes? Down here. He played about 32 minutes in game 2 and about 32 minutes in game 1. So far, playing a pretty decent amount of minutes here, but in 2023, when he plays between 30 and 36 minutes, you see a 70% hit rate, 16 out of 23 games, averaging 24.09 points plus assists. So the more minutes he plays, the better the data here for Garland. All right, guys, the third overall prop from today's slate and our third and final straight prop from this Cavs Magic game. We're going Franz Wagner of the Magic under 23.5 points plus assists. We're getting this for minus 122 on DraftKings, available practically everywhere except for FanDuel. And you see the data is pretty good. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 22.1 points plus assists per game. It's pretty close. He's always fairly close, but still manages to cover. Look at his last 20 games, a 75% hit rate, 15 of his last 20 games. On the year so far, including playoffs, 55% hit rate, 41 out of 74 games. He is averaging 23.39 points plus assists per game. But you see a lot of his cashes looks like it came in the middle part of the season. You see of late a lot more green on this under. And most importantly, the head-to-head data. He's cashed this in 8 consecutive games versus the Orlando Magic dating back to December 2022. He averages 20.89 points plus assists per game versus the Cavs. And including game 1 and game 2, he did cash this under. And it makes sense here. You look at the Cavs defensively across the board. They are also one of the best defensive teams in the league. And, I know versus small forwards, the data doesn't look great, but they've managed to cover it every single time. They also play some minutes at shooting guard as well, and you see here they are one of the best defensive teams there. So Cleveland, overall, really good defensive spot. Again, 8 consecutive games. I got to ride that trend there for Franz. All right, guys, switching gears, our fourth overall prop in our straight prop segment. We're switching over to Knicks Sixers, 7:30 p.m. tip-off. We're taking a risk here. We're going Jalen Brunson over 28.5 points. We're getting this for minus 125 on DraftKings, but it is available on every sports book here. And look, I know we're taking a big swing and a big risk here with Jalen Brunson, but I believe that he's going to come out of this funk he's in right now. He has still cashed this in 7 of his last 10 games. He's averaging 33.3 points plus assists per game. On the year so far, a 49% hit rate, including playoffs, averaging 28.58. So his average is right about where this line is. And look, the head-to-head data is not fantastic. You see here, 2 of his last 10 games versus the Sixers, he's cashed the over, averaging 23.2 points plus assists. You see game 1 and game 2. Both games, he failed to cash this over. And the Sixers, if you look at the right side of the screen, they're a great defensive team versus point guards. They're top 3 in the league, giving up just 22.5 points versus the opposing point guard. So overall, pretty solid data defensively. So why am I going to take this prop here over 28.5 points? When the Sixers have a really good defense, the under has hit consistently. And my thing is, it's a big reason why I'm taking this is volume. So we narrow this down. We just take a look at game 1 and game 2 here. You look at the shot attempts. And you see here, he attempted 26 field goals in game 1 and 29 field goals in game 2. The volume is there. He's shooting the ball a shit ton. The problem, he's not been shooting the ball well. He shot 28% from the floor in game 2, 31% from the floor in game 1, 8 for 26 and 8 for 29. Not really good numbers there for Brunson. He still finished with 22 and 24 points in those games. So the shot volume is there for Brunson. He's taking a ton of shots. On the road, it is a common theme with a lot of these playoff teams is that the role players, your bench guys, your supporting cast, they don't play as well on the road as they would maybe in Madison Square Garden. I just don't expect Brunson to stay in this funk for very long here. With the volume that he's shooting at, if he hits a couple more shots, we're not even saying he needs to shoot 50%. If he goes like 11 for 29 instead of 8 for 29, all of a sudden we have a cash instead of a miss. He had 24 points shooting 8 for 29. Again, if he shoots 11 for 29, which is still not a good percentage at all, we cash the over. So as long as the volume is there, I'm going to bet this Brunson over. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. It's definitely a risk. But everything in sports betting and gambling is a risk. So I do like the spot here for Brunson. All right, guys, our 5th straight prop from today's slate and our 2nd prop from this Knicks-Sixers game. We're going Embiid over 10.5 rebounds. We're getting it for -118 on DraftKings. This one is available on every sports book. And again, data not great at first glance. You see here, 4 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over. In 2023, a 60% hit rate, though, 25 out of 42 games. He's averaging 11.02 rebounds per game this season. And again, the head-to-head data is not great. He's cashed it in 2 of his last 6 games. We're taking some risks here in Knicks-Sixers game 3. But you see his misses, like in game 2, he had 10 rebounds. Like you see his misses versus the Knicks. He hovers around this line. So he's pretty close to hitting it almost every time. I know that might not mean much, but in the Knicks, they are a top 10 team in terms of rebounds allowed. They don't give up a ton of rebounds, but the rebound chances are extremely high. Now, it's not showing it for game 2. I'm not sure why, but you see he's averaging 20 rebound chances per game versus the Knicks. And you see here in game 1, 22 rebound chances. I'm pretty sure in game 1 he had 22 rebound chances. I'm pretty sure in game 2 it was over 25. So tons of rebound chances are coming in this series, and it's been a kind of a sloppy series. I don't expect that to change much. I think the rebound opportunities are there for Embiid. Playing at home in a must-win game, he's going to be motivated. He's going to be on his best game. I do think him grabbing 11 boards is pretty reasonable when it's a do-or-die. It really is a do-or-die game for the Sixers at this point. They go down 0-3. They're not winning the series. I think Embiid steps up. He's going to play a lot of minutes in this game, which obviously bodes well for us. All right, guys, moving on to the 3rd and final game of today's slate. We have Nuggets-Lakers game 3. I have 4 props from this game. So this is our 6th prop overall, our first prop from Lakers-Nuggets. We're going D'Lo, under 23.5 points plus assists. I know he cashed this in game 2. He had a pretty good game 2 game in that crazy loss for the Lakers. But there's a lot of data that shows why this prop is still a good bet here. Again, at first glance, the data not fantastic. In 2023 so far, a 46% hit rate on this under. He's had a pretty good season for the Lakers. But looking at the head-to-head data here, he had cashed in 7 consecutive games versus the Nuggets dating back to May of last season before he cashed this line in game 2. But you look at the data here and you see it not only a consistent green, but he's well below the line. This is not a matter of he just barely misses a couple times. He usually finishes well below the line. Game 1. 13 points and 3 assists. Going to the regular season, 11 points and 7 assists. Going to the playoffs last year, he had 4 points and 2 assists in that playoff game last year. And look at the minutes. Now, look, some of his minutes fluctuate. You saw that game where he only had like 4 points, 2 assists. He only played 15 minutes. But you see here, even when he plays a ton of minutes, he had 41 minutes in game 1. and those 41 minutes translated to 13 points and 3 assists. He plays a lot of minutes. That's the biggest risk here with his bet, is the fact that he's on the court a lot. But Denver, the second best defensive team in the NBA in terms of points allowed to opposing point guards. They're top 10 in assists allowed. So really good defensive matchup here. And D'Lo in his career in the playoffs is one of the worst playoff performers in the league. And so I don't think that disappears after one game. I think, obviously being back in LA will help things. I think D'Lo is due to hit this under once again. He's only averaging 15.25 points plus assists per game versus Denver, dating back to last season. All right, guys, our second prop from this game, our 7th prop overall in today's slate. We're going Michael Porter Jr. of the Nuggets over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. By the way, guys, comment 15 down below in the comment section if you made it this far into the video. As always, thank you very much. If you guys are this far into the video, I appreciate you guys watching through the whole thing. Again, as always, I tell you guys the link for the parlay and for most of the picks will be in the description below. The outlier link, I'll make sure to put that for you guys so you guys can bet along a little easier than having to go through all the picks. So again, comment 15 down below. So Michael Porter Jr. over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. At first glance, this has been the trend for most of these playoff props. First glance, data is not fantastic. In 2023 so far, though, a 46% hit rate, 38 out of 83 games. He's averaging 8.49 rebounds plus assists per game. So he's about at that line with his average. But this is more about the head-to-head matchup here. You see, he has cashed this line in 9 of his last 11 games versus the Lakers, dating back to October of 2022. He's averaging 11.09 rebounds plus assists. Look, he could cover this just in rebounds alone like he did in Game 2. He had 9 rebounds in Game 2. He did have 1 assist. The assist just helps us out a little bit just in case he has a couple assists here and there. He's going to cover this in mostly rebounds alone. But again, the cover rate versus the Lakers, not 82% hit rate in the last 11 games. Really solid head-to-head data here. And the Lakers, they're not a great team. They're bottom 5 in assists allowed. They're middle of the road, actually bottom half of the league in rebounds allowed. So a pretty solid matchup here for Michael Porter Jr. All right, guys, our 8th prop overall, our 3rd prop from this Lakers-Nuggets game. We're going AD over 24.5 points. We're getting this at minus 140 on both DraftKings and on FanDuel here. And look, I'm going to keep betting the AD point line as long as he keeps playing the way that he has so far in this series. Now, look, he does surprisingly have a 55% hit rate on this over in 2023. 44 out of 80 games this year, he has cashed the over, averaging 25 points per game this season. So he's had a great year. I'm not a Laker guy, obviously. I've talked about before, I'm not a LeBron guy. I'm a Celtics fan. I hate the Lakers. But I got to be honest, I've been really impressed with what Anthony Davis has done this year, how many games he's played, the way that he's played. I think he's got a lot of criticism since joining the Lakers, and rightfully so. But this year, he's definitely backed up his game. And looking at the head-to-head rankings here, 5 of his last 12 games he's cashed the over, just a 42% hit rate. He is averaging 24.33 points per game, but the most important thing here is that in Game 1 and in Game 2, he scored exactly 32 points in both games. He's cashed the over in 3 of his last 4 games versus the Nuggets dating back to February. You look at that 17-point game on March 2nd. I believe how many minutes did he play there? No, he did play about 39 minutes, but overall, you see he has been putting up decent numbers of late versus Denver. On the year, the Nuggets are actually a bottom 10 team defensively versus centers. Believe it or not, they're not a great defensive team down low, so centers take advantage of it. I think AD has. And I think their strategy is, just throw AD down on Jokic and just make Jokic tired. And it's kind of working for the most part. So I think their strategy is run the offense through Davis a lot of the time. I don't think that strategy changes. The Lakers have played well. They should have won Game 2. But I do like the spot of them continuing to feed Davis. Davis continuing to play at a high level. Again, similar to the Sixers situation. Must-win spot. They lose this game, the series is over effectively. And so in LA, I think Anthony Davis steps up and has a big game. All right, guys, our 4th straight prop from this game, our 9th and final straight prop of our straight prop segment. You wouldn't guess it by the way how many times I've bet on this guy lately that I'm a LeBron hater, but LeBron James over 24.5 points. We're getting it for minus 145 on DraftKings, minus 135 on FanDuel. Look, I got to bet him. He's just been playing incredible of late. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over. He's averaging 28.6 points per game over his last 10 games. On 2023 so far, including playoffs, a 59% hit rate, 44 out of 75 games. He's averaging 25.63 points per game this season for the Lakers. And again, the head-to-head data is strong. 8 of his last 12 games versus Denver dating back to October of last year. he has cashed the over. He's averaging 25.92 points per game versus Denver over the last 12 games, and he has cashed this in 5 of his last 6, including 4 straight. He had in Game 1 and in Game 2, he cashed the over. Again, same principle. Now look at defensively, though. The Nuggets are very good defensively against small forwards, but LeBron's a little bit different because he plays all over. He plays like a point forward. He technically plays powerful. Like, he's all over the place. Overall, the Nuggets are a great defensive team, but the defensive matchup doesn't matter too much to me here because LeBron's going to play hard. These are the games that LeBron lives for. And again, in Los Angeles, Game 3, again, I know their season isn't technically over if they lose tonight, but let's be honest. They lose tonight, they're not winning 4 straight versus Denver, including 2 at Denver. This is their season. If they lose this game, the season's over. They played really well in Game 2. They should have won Game 2. I think LeBron, AD, this Lakers team comes off pissed off. At home, I think they're going to take one off the Nuggets. I think it's going to be this one here. I think they win this Game 3 here. In order to do that, LeBron's got to score. So I think 25 points for LeBron is a pretty fair bet here. All right, guys, that does it for our straight prop segment. We are now moving into the parlay section. Again, 4-leg, same-game parlay X. Again, I'll have the link, the outlier link down below in the description, so it's easy for you guys to bet. But 4-leg parlay to close the video. Let's finish strong here. First leg of our 4-leg parlay going in descending order now because what's the point of going back to Cavs Magic? We'll start with where we were just at, Lakers Nuggets. Again, stick with that same mentality. We're going to Anthony Davis over 34.5 points plus rebounds. We're getting this for minus 235 on the DraftKings. Before you guys criticize me for using alternate lines, do you guys want to win parlays or what? Because I'm going to be straight up honest with you. You start, and I have a video coming out about parlays, the ins and outs of parlays. I'm working on a couple of like sports betting how-to videos for the channel, and I'm working on specifically a parlay-based one. Guys, if you just keep throwing a bunch of regular minus 110s, yeah, great, the payout's more, and if it hits, it hits. But the odds, the probability of hitting is so low on those that, yeah, you're going to take alternate lines here to give you a better chance of hitting. So I saw a couple guys criticize the alternate lines, and it's like, listen, that's just that. If you want to win parlays, you want to win money on these bets, you got to go with some alternate lines. That's just the way that this works. And again, I know I don't always hit the parlays, but overall, we are profitable on the channel. We are up over 15 units on the season on our parlays. That's a fact. Again, we don't hit them always, but we do hit them. So Anthony Davis, minus 235 odds on DraftKings. It is also available on FanDuel for minus 280. But again, I don't know how that works with FanDuel if you can use combos because this is a combo. So I'm assuming you can't do this in your parlay. So, but are people really betting Anthony Davis minus 280 straight up? I don't know. But FanDuel, kind of confusing there. But again, AD, 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed this over. Last 20 games, a 75% hit rate, averaging 38.25 points plus rebounds per game. In 2023 so far, including playoffs, a 65% hit rate, 52 out of 80 games. Again, we know the Nuggets down low defensively. Although rebounds, they don't give up a ton. We know they are bottom 7 league in points allowed. In the head-to-head data here, excuse me, 8 of the last 10 games versus the Nuggets, he has cashed this over, averaging 36.17 points plus rebounds per game. And again, Game 1 and Game 2, he absolutely crushed this line. You could go a little bit higher if you want to, but we're playing on the safer side here, taking the alternate line to give us a surefire hit. All right, guys, second leg of our 4-leg parlay going back to Knicks Sixers. We're going OG Anunoby over 8.5 points. Again, alternate line. We're getting it for minus 240 on DraftKings. It is available on minus 310 on FanDuel. The data is fantastic. 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over. A 90% hit rate on the season. 47 out of 52 games, he's cashed the over. He's averaging 14.52. And versus the Sixers, a 100% hit rate. He cashes in both Game 1 and Game 2, averaging 11.5 points versus the Sixers this season. Looking defensively, the Sixers against small forwards, they're about middle of the road, giving up 20 points per game. We only need him here to score 9 points. He's done, again, a 90% hit rate on the year. Only 5 times this year has he failed to score 9 points. I think he scores 9 points here. All right, going back, finishing up here, Cavs Magic, third leg of our 4-leg parlay. We're going Garland, back to Darius Garland, over 21.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. We're getting it from minus 210 on DraftKings, minus 250 on FanDuel. Again, 8 of his last 10 games cashed the over, 25.7 points plus rebounds plus assists per game. Last 20 games, 75% hit rate. On 2023 so far, including playoffs, a 75% hit rate, 44 out of 59 games, averaging 27.12. And look at the head-to-head data. Each of his last 7 games, including Game 1 and Game 2 of this series, he has cashed the over versus Orlando. He's averaging 30.71 points plus rebounds plus assists per game versus the Magic. Look at the Magic versus point guards. It is one of their weaker positions on defense. They're a great defensive team, but versus point guards, they're okay. They're solid, but not great. So overall, the data is very solid here for Garland. Again, 100% hit rate versus the Magic this year, and even dating back to December of last last season. And the fourth and final leg of today's parlay, we're going Evan Mobley over 15.5 points plus assists. Again, minus 210 on DraftKings, minus 235 on FanDuel here. And we'll just start off the head-to-head data. Once again, fantastic. Each of the last 7 games versus Orlando, he has cashed the over. He's averaging 19.71 points plus assists per game versus the Magic dating back to October of last year. Again, he's cashed this in Game 1 and Game 2 this season. In 2023 so far, a 73% hit rate, 38 out of 52 games, averaging 18.87 points plus assists. And again, going with the same thing we did with the straight, because remember, we took this line originally on the straight prop segment at 17.5. We shaved 2 points / assists off to make it a little easier to hit. I showed you guys earlier the minutes. We'll do the same exact thing. So we'll do 30, I believe it was 32 minutes to 36 minutes. So we'll go 32. And we'll bring this down to 36. And you see, when he plays between 32 and 36 minutes in a game, a 93% hit rate, including 13 in a row, averaging 21.29 points plus assists per game. So when you put this line lower, the hit rate is fantastic. Again, 93% hit rate this year when he plays between 32 and 36 minutes. And again, going to the last couple games, he had 32 minutes in Game 2 and 36 minutes in Game 1. So he plays in that range again, a 93% hit rate, a really good prop here for minus 210. Really solid value. So again, guys, there is our 4-leg parlay. Evan Mobley over 15.5 points plus assists. Darius Garland over 21.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Anthony Davis over 34.5 points plus rebounds. And OG Anunoby over 8.5 points. You parlay all 4 of those together, your parlay should come out to be plus 338 odds for a nice little 4-leg parlay to close out the show. Guys, that is it for me today. I know the video's a little longer. I had a lot of picks to hand out to you guys today. But thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow with another NBA player prop video. It's our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay tomorrow. A little tricky when you only have 3 games, but we're going to figure it out one way or another. Guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart for always watching and supporting. We've had some great viewership the last couple of days. Let's keep it up here on this Thursday. Until tomorrow, I hope we're all winners.